Welcome back to the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi with the fresh haircut, fresh off the weekend. I hope you had a great weekend. Did you know that we're streaming live to millions on YouTube and Rumble and X? That's right. Download the Next News Network app for 24/7 breaking news alerts. You'll find the links in the description to download. And what does set us apart? Well, because we talk with you in the chat room. So share the stream via text message to bypass big text algorithmic suppression. X viewers, repost this right now. And sorry, Facebook guys, something crashed, so we're not there on Facebook. But we do need every patriot engaged. And if you want to support independent journalism, at the donation links below, that's how you can partake. If you want to grab some exclusive merch, hit up shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and join our YouTube channel memberships for exclusive perks. And our members-only Discord runs 24/7. Did you know that we'll be reading your Super Chats and Rumble Rants between segments? We will. We're going to feature them on screen for the whole world to see. So send them in right now because your message could open America's eyes. Now, in this day in history, October 6, 1866, the Reno brothers pulled off the first train robbery in American history. They thought they could steal from hardworking Americans and get away with it. Sound familiar? Well, today's Democrats are robbing American families to pay for illegal aliens. But just like those outlaws, their day of reckoning is coming. You see, the Reno gang terrorized honest citizens until the people had enough and took justice into their own hands. Well, today, we're watching a new gang of political outlaws hold America hostage, stealing food from our children's mouths to fund their radical agenda. But history teaches us that Americans don't stay victims for long. And here is what is exploding across the nation today. The Democrat shutdown has entered its second week with catastrophic consequences. American families are watching their cupboards go bare. WIC and SNAP funds are dried up, and our troops are working without pay. Why? Because Democrats are holding the entire government hostage for $200 billion in health care for illegal aliens. That's more money than we spend on American children and veterans combined. The press secretary, Secretary Leavitt, today confirmed that President Trump has a clean bill ready to sign tonight. But AOC and her radical bloc have Chuck Schumer in a chokehold. Over in Chicago, the Windy City, my kind of town, we've crossed into uncharted territory. Leaked dispatch audio proves Chicago police were ordered to abandon federal ICE agents who were under attack. When anarchists surrounded federal vehicles and officers called 911 for backup, the response was 3 words: do not respond. This happened while 30 people were shot in Chicago just this weekend. Mayor Brandon Johnson and Governor Pritzker, they have declared open war on federal law enforcement, turning the Windy City into a sanctuary for cartels while law enforcement officers are left to die. The tale of two cities couldn't be more stark. In Portland, a federal judge blocked National Guard deployment after 100 nights of anarchy. Antifa controls entire city blocks. They've erected guillotines outside ICE facilities, and DHS agents are being spit on and assaulted. Meanwhile, in Memphis, citizens are welcoming Trump's National Guard with open arms. The results? 150 arrests. 5 missing children rescued, crime plummeting. Citizens are literally dancing in the streets saying, "Thank you, President Trump." Now, we've been tracking the Russia hoax scandal for weeks, and tonight, Maria Bartiromo and Devin Nunes revealed the real reason for the Mar-a-Lago raid on President Trump. It was never about nuclear codes. It was about finding a 40-page classified document that proves Obama, Biden, Brennan, and Comey knew that Hillary Clinton was framing Trump. This smoking gun has now mysteriously vanished from every government archive. And over in Virginia, Democrat Attorney General candidate Jay Jones has imploded after leaked texts show him fantasizing about murdering Republicans and their children. The story's now reached the White House, with President Trump and the press secretary, Secretary Leavitt, issuing official condemnations, while Democrats remain silent. Every single story tonight reveals the very same pattern. Democrats choosing criminals over cops, illegals over Americans, violence over peace. The gloves are off, and the masks have fallen. This is your Raw Feed, unfiltered and unafraid, so let's get into it and welcome you to the show. And Brian, if you could check the speed on that, that would be grand. Let's see who's here. Mrs. Pothead, Kenny, Tyson, Curie, Steven, Elsa, Bills Rules. Lynn is in the house. John Strain, MWP, Kim Weeg, Bruce. And who else is in the house? Let's see here. Checking. AB Clips. Jake CB. Beatty Marquez. Heather Reeve in the house. Deborah Gomez, Broken Prophet, Jay Flo, Shanna Allen. Who else? Awful Workplaces is here. MWP, Ruthie, Gail Marie. Mary B. Crabtree is here. Patricia Duff, Jen X, Debbie Amon. Amon? One from Illinois. What's up, Debbie from Illinois? James Snowden, Christine Hess, Christine Knight, Broken Prophet, Laura Young, Pothead Kenny, Bobby Riesling, who else? Bob Johnson, Karen Hazel Baker from Missoula, Captain Slack, Kirk Kane, Tracy Belmer, Gary Hastings, Judy Jetson's here. Kelly Patriot 79, Soul Shaker, JRP 420 on Rumble, Shauna Gunk, Teresa Healy, Tiffany on X, Irony Rose, Erosion Head. What's up, guys? Okay, so remember, you have instructions, guys. Every day you have instructions. What are they? Should we play a game? What are the instructions? I always say, do this. What is it you have to do? And then when you're done doing it, you press 1. Come on, guys. What is it? What is it? What is it? Share the show. Copy the link. Paste it into your phone and text everybody. Spam everyone you know. All right? And when you're done, go ahead and hit 1 and confirm that you have done it. Thank you, Tammy. I got the haircut just for you, actually. Tiffany reposted the stream. Yes, that's what you do. That's how we all do. Thank you, Tiffany. Okay, guys, I'm watching, and we are actually cataloging everybody who has shared this. Inbred Outlook dropping $2. Not too happy about Illinois. We're going to get to the stories. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. We got a lot of news. Holy cow. There's a Ruby Hoove in here. We got Ruby Hoove gifted a membership to Bruce Rice. And then Ruby decided to drop $5 lurking. Have a great one. That was 8 minutes ago. 30 seconds ago, Inbred Outlook dropped $2. Awesome. We are already on our way to our goal of $100 tonight. I think we can do it. I have faith. What do you know? Captain Patriot coming through. We're not even started yet, and Captain Patriot, like, let's go. What do we got here? $5 from Captain Patriot. Do you think all congressional staffers should be furloughed and congressmen to do their own work while the government shut down? Sure. Why not? Make them do some work for once. Okay, let's get on with our show, Brian. We got a show to do. The unthinkable is happening right now. American families are watching their cupboards go bare while Democrats in Washington play politics with their survival. Federal workers are being told they might not get paid. Troops are defending this nation without paychecks, and the reason will make your blood boil. It's not about budget constraints or fiscal responsibility. This is about one party's decision to hold America hostage unless illegal aliens get free health care on your dime. The evidence is overwhelming. The betrayal is real. And the consequences are hitting home tonight. What you're about to see will change how you view this shutdown forever. But did you know that gold has gone mainstream? You're seeing it everywhere. Prices keep climbing. Every day, more and more Americans are catching on to the power of gold. But how do you actually take advantage of it? How do you invest in a way that's safe, simple, and built for the long run? Well, that's where Noble Gold Investments comes in. Noble Gold specialists are trained to help investors like you go from confused to confident, from wondering what's next to knowing exactly what to do. Whether you're looking to roll over an old 401k into a gold IRA or you want physical coins and bars delivered right to your home, Noble Gold makes the process simple, safe, and stress-free. You'll get step-by-step guidance, transparent pricing, and U.S.-based service from a team that's handled over, get this, $2.5 billion in precious metal transactions. With Noble Gold Investments, protecting and growing your wealth isn't just their job, it is their commitment. Visit my friends at nextnewsgold.com. It's linked below to claim your free wealth protection kit. That's nextnewsgold.com, because Noble Gold is going to help you build a stronger future. And see if you qualify for that silver bonus. And call that number on the screen, 877-646-5347. And when Colin answers the phone, you tell me Gary Franchi said, "What's up?" Okay, so lots happening in the Oval Office, in the White House today. President Trump, just a few hours ago, weighing in on the shutdown, plus the press secretary fire press conference today. Did you guys see that? We ran it here on the channel. Let's check in with President Trump in the Oval today.
Fails in the Senate. If the vote today fails in the Senate, will that trigger layoffs?
It could. At some point it will. And, the Democrats are the ones that started this. And if you think about it, it's about health care to a large extent. It's about, we want great health care for people. We don't want to give the money away to other people that come pouring into our country. And they've already poured, because nobody's coming into our country. Now we have the border totally stopped. In fact, numbers we just announced again, we're at another zero. So we have zero for 4 months in a row. Zero people coming into our country illegally. That's a pretty good number. I'm not sure even I can believe that, Doug, if you want to know the truth. Zero. We went from millions of people to zero, but it's pretty close to that number. And the way you stop them is not to give away, not to announce that you're giving everybody free health care, free this or that. But what that does, it affects the American people, because the American people are unable to get good health care. Obamacare has been a wreck, as you know, and to do that, we have to keep it propped up and do the best you can with it. It's a mess. But a lot of things are going on in that. We talk about Hamas, then we talk about negotiations that we have going on right now. We have a negotiation going on right now with the Democrats that could lead to very good things.
What kind of
and I'm talking about good things with regard to health care.
If the vote today.
Well, we'll have to wait and see if that clean CR gets passed. Let's check in with the press secretary. She says Democrat shutdown is starving families and stiffing troops. WIC funds dry up, paychecks vanish, just so Democrats can demand free health care for illegals. The GOP clean bill would reopen the government tonight.
Shutdown. While President Trump continues to negotiate peace deals, meets with world leaders, and celebrates the 250th birthday of our United States Navy, as you saw he and the First Lady do just yesterday, Democrats, unfortunately, are continuing to play political games. And we are now in day 6 of the Democrat federal government shutdown. Millions of American federal workers are under enormous financial stress as a result, wondering how they will pay their bills and take care of their families. If the Democrats do not vote to open the government tonight, federal workers will not receive their next full paycheck. Additionally, the special supplemental nutrition program for women, infants, and children will run out of federal money very soon. This program provides vouchers to buy infant formula, fresh fruits and vegetables, and other healthy foods for low-income families. It can be easily fully funded if Democrats simply vote tonight to reopen the government. Also, our incredible military service members who risk their lives to preserve and defend our country are now working without pay and will miss their next paychecks if this Democrat shutdown does not end tonight. The Republican-backed clean and nonpartisan funding bill fully funds this important food aid program, gets our troops paid, and reopens the government. So all of this begs the question, what is the Democrat ongoing shutdown truly about? The sad truth, we believe, is that the Democrats intentionally shut down the government and are inflicting this pain on American citizens to try and demand free health care for illegal aliens. Of course, this is an indefensible and truly radical policy to be in favor of, let alone to use as the primary reason to shut down the United States government. So the Democrats and their allies are desperately lying about their true motivations. We have to set the record straight with the facts so the American people understand what's really at play here. House Republicans passed a clean and nonpartisan funding bill to keep the government open and ensure our troops and other hardworking Americans are paid. While President Trump
But of
continues
course,
to
those people are all being held hostage. She went on to declare that the Democrats killed every clean funding bill to force $200 billion for illegals' health care, more than American kids and vets. Trump says, enough, reopen the government, pay our troops, and stop rewarding lawbreakers.
to reopen the government. Every single House Democrat except one voted against this clean and nonpartisan funding bill. Senate Republicans have subsequently tried to pass this same clean funding bill 4 separate times, and they will do so again tonight, to fully pass it to be sent to the president's desk for signature. And the president is ready to sign this bill to reopen the government as soon as it is sent to his desk. Yet every single Senate Democrat except 3 have voted against this clean and nonpartisan funding bill. The Democrats' current position is that the only way the American government can reopen is if illegal aliens can get free health care. Don't take my word for it, just look at what's inside of the Democrats' proposal to reopen the government. Their funding proposal would result in nearly $200 billion spent on health care for illegal aliens and other non-citizens over the next decade. To put this in perspective, $200 billion is enough money to fund the entire children's health insurance program, which provides health insurance to low-income children and women. Under the Democrats' proposal, the millions of illegal aliens who improperly were granted asylum and paroled under the Biden administration would once again be allowed to receive Medicaid benefits. It does not end there. The Democrat proposal would also require Medicaid to pay more for emergency care provided to illegal aliens than it does for American patients who are disabled, elderly, or children. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. The Democrat Party has unfortunately closed our government, costing Americans their jobs, threatening our military readiness, harming our economy, and causing chaos, all to help the illegals who broke into our country. Instead of
Oh, but there's more, my friends. There is more. Furloughs and layoffs are on the table. Trump warned that firings are real. Hundreds of thousands furloughed because Democrats shut it down. The OMB wing layoffs if it drags on. The pain is growing, and the left needs to own this.
and fired from their Here in our new media seat today, we have Elizabeth Mitchell from the Daily Signal. Elizabeth, thanks for being here, and please kick us off.
Thank you for having me. I have 2 questions. First, President Trump told reporters yesterday that firings of federal employees are taking place right now. In which departments have people already been fired from their federal jobs due to the shutdown?
The president was referring to the hundreds of thousands of federal workers who have been furloughed as a result of this federal government shutdown, both here at the White House and across the entire federal government, at agencies across the board. There are federal workers who are staying home. Many of them work in the White House. You know them. Some of them sit just behind me at those desks. They are unable to show up to work right now because the Democrats chose to shut the government down. And so we're already, unfortunately, seeing the consequence of this. And then, of course, the Office of Management and Budget is continuing to work with agencies on who, unfortunately, is going to have to be laid off if this shutdown continues. Here in our new media seat today, we have Elizabeth Mitchell from the Daily.
Folks in the White House press office aren't showing up to work. Wow, check this out. Here's more. Some of the federal workers work in Chattanooga, facing the risk of missing their upcoming paychecks. Democrats are withholding pay from American citizens to fulfill their radical agenda, providing taxpayer-funded health care. This is a local news report from Chattanooga.
TSA agents are.
With this government shutdown, I was curious about how it could affect our federal workers here that are not being paid. I talked to an economics professor at UTC to learn more.
Probably the federal employees are the ones who bear the brunt of the economic effects.
Some of these workers work right here in Chattanooga and face the risk of missing an upcoming paycheck.
We have troops and TSA agents and Border Patrol agents who are working without pay, protecting the country.
House Speaker Mike Johnson spoke about those furlough workers during this shutdown. We asked UTC economics professor Howard Walls how that affects federal employees here at home.
They're not being paid. So some of them actually still work, but they're not being paid until this impasse is over, and others are sent home and not being paid.
There was no answer at our Chattanooga USDA and EPA offices. With this government shutdown, I was curious about how it could affect our federal workers here that are not being paid. I talked to an economics professor at UTC.
Let's keep going, because the effects are nationwide. Millions of people who rely on food stamps and family aid through programs like SNAP and WIC could be at risk of losing assistance due to the government shutdown. Aren't those the Democrat, they need those people? The Democrats need those voters, right? They're the ones they pander to all the time, but they're going to go ahead and hang them out to dry for illegals? Holy cow.
But his mom and Americans are beginning to feel the impact. Millions of people who rely on food stamps and family aid through programs like SNAP and WIC could be at risk of losing assistance due to the government shutdown. For now, these crucial programs are relying on reserve funds they hope will last until Congress passes a new spending plan. This is baby Zave. He's now 1.5 and thriving, but his mom, Ashley Vasquez, says that wasn't always the case.
He just didn't have appetite and he wasn't putting on weight.
Zave was put on special nutritional drinks that his family received through WIC, the federal funded program for women, infants, and children. It provides aid to more than 6 million low-income families to help cover expenses for food, breastfeeding support, and health education. But that money could soon be at risk if the government shutdown continues.
For really young children whose sole source of nutrition may be infant formula, the loss of WIC would be absolutely devastating because their families don't have other options.
Nell Manifi-Libby with the National WIC Association says if the government doesn't pass a spending bill within the next 2 weeks, funding will likely run out.
That really puts us in a crisis point very quickly.
Funding for other assistance programs like the Supplement Nutrition Assistance Program known as SNAP could also be at risk. Roughly 42 million people depend on SNAP to help cover groceries. October's benefits were already sent out, but come November 1st, it's unclear whether people will receive assistance. Americans are beginning.
42 million people being hung out to dry by the Democrats. Just pass the clean CR. Just do it. Here, Mike Johnson, 9 hours ago, exposing Chuck Schumer for being held hostage by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Very angry, had this on my desk on a big stack, and I found it. This is published March of 2025, March 26 exactly. It's a picture of Chuck Schumer looking very upset, very angry, walking out with a box, and all the House Democrats depicted their character, saying that he's an enemy of democracy. Why is he an enemy of democracy? Because the far left base in the Democrat Party has turned on Chuck Schumer because he did the responsible thing, get the lights on. Why? Because they want him to show a fight against President Trump. So Schumer doesn't want to be in this situation again. So he said, my gosh, he got his staff together and he got the far left wing of the party. He said, what do you want? What do you want me to fight on? So they created a red herring. A red herring is a distraction. They decided that they would pick a fight on health care. Well, let me look right into the camera and tell you very clearly. Republicans are the ones concerned about health care. Republicans are the party working around the clock every day to fix health care. This is not talking points for us. We've done it. A big part of the One Big Beautiful Bill, the Working Families Tax Cut, was to fix health care. Health care is broken in America. It's too expensive. The quality of care needs to rise. We need more access for more people, and we have lots of ideas to do that. But that issue is for debate in the next 3 months. It always was. We have members working on that. The tax credit, the subsidy you've heard about that expires December 31st, there's a lot of thoughtful debate and discussion that has already been going on about that and will go on about that. But that's a December 31 issue. So Chuck Schumer is scrambling. He has to have an issue. None of their policies are very popular. So they decided to lob onto health care. And he decided to claim to all of you that is the issue with government funding. It is not. Those are two totally separate things. The clean continuing resolution would simply keep the lights on so that the members in the House and Senate can have those debates on health care. We were always planning, and we have lots of ideas on the table on how to fix it, but we don't yet have consensus on it because it's very complicated. We have time to do it. The month of October is a critically important time for us to get the House and Senate working on that very issue. But they're
trick or treat. Well, looks like the Democrats are playing a trick, and there will be no treats in the Halloween baskets this year. The NEC director, Kevin Hassett, going on about the clean continuing resolution. Any government worker that loses their job is going to be because Democrats Wow.
Transition. And right now, we just want a clean, continuing resolution. And any government worker that loses their job because of rifts after another failed attempt to negotiate is going to be really there because the Democrats are being intransigent. And don't forget, Joe, that this is the third time since President Trump was in office that they've decided to shut the government down. So they've got Trump derangement syndrome. They don't really know how to govern when he's in the White House, and they're just flailing about. And this is really the worst of the three. They have absolutely no leverage whatsoever. One would expect that they would come, and they would come soon to the table, but they keep not doing it. Today the Senate opens its gavel, I think, around 3 o'clock. I expect there'll be a team of people in the Oval with the president hoping that we're going to get the government to stop being shut down. But if not, then I would guess that team in the Oval is going to start taking sharp measures. Right now, we just want a clean.
So that vote should be happening right now. We'll check in on that in a second. But first, let's check in with the president outside of the White House, going to Marine One. Oh, I love these moments.
Prices, well, I call them Democrat layoffs. They're Democrat layoffs. They're causing it. We're ready to go back. We have a record-setting economy. We have a record-setting country. Prices are way down. We're doing better than the country's ever done. And the Democrats hate seeing that. It's up to them. Anybody laid off, that's because of the Democrats. Well, they're
Lay him off. Buddy Carter posts Chuck Schumer, John Ossoff, and the Democrats own this shutdown. They're willing to force our troops to work without pay if it means illegal immigrants get health care. I don't know how I don't even know how any American representative in Congress can hold up that talking point. I guess I do know why. Because they want them to be Democrat voters. They want those illegals to think that the Democrats are fighting for them to have health care, even though they're illegal.
Going to get Medicaid. It's clearly the Schumer shutdown. This is a shutdown that the Democrats instigated, all in the name of trying to get health care for illegals. And if you say they're not trying to do that, that is erroneous. They are wanting to reverse what we did in the Working Families Tax Act. And what we did was to make sure that illegals are not going to get Medicaid. It's clearly the Schumer shutdown.
It is the Schumer shutdown. It's really the Soros shutdown. Here's more of President Trump. This 24 hours ago. Another Marine One moment.
The loss of a
begin firing federal employees during this government shutdown.
It's taking place right now, and it's all because of the Democrats. The Democrats are causing the loss of a lot of jobs with their. It's a shutdown. It's their shutdown, not our shutdown. It's their shutdown.
The Democrat shutdown. Let's see if we could track down any of the votes that may have occurred with the shutdown real quick. I'm just going to do a quick search and see if there's any new news on that. Shutdown vote. Let's see if it has progressed at all. Let's see. White House press secretary warned another Senate vote for short-term government funding fails. 3 minutes ago. 23 ABC News reports. So the shutdown will continue. This just in. Here is 23 ABC News right there at the top. Another Senate vote for the short-term government funding fails, extending the shutdown. So it looks like tomorrow's going to be day 7. And the funds are going to slowly dry up. People's WIC accounts, SNAP accounts are going to dry up. Military not going to get paid. All because the Democrats want to give health care to illegals. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. This is about more than money or politics. This is about the fight for America. When Democrats choose to fund health care for people who broke our laws while American families can't feed their children, they've crossed a moral line that can't be uncrossed. Every empty refrigerator, every unpaid soldier, every furloughed worker is a direct result of their priorities. They are not confused. They're not negotiating. They are literally holding your family hostage to pay for their open border agenda. $200 billion. That's what your suffering is worth to them. The price tag on American misery, so illegal aliens can get benefits you can't even afford for yourself. So here's my question. Should any politician who votes to give illegals health care before reopening the government be voted out of office? Drop a yes or a no. Let's have a conversation in the comments section. And while you're fired up, make sure you check out our Next News merch shop. It's linked down below, and show America where you stand. All right. Paul Kendall, 21 minutes ago, right at the open of the segment, dropping $4.99. Thank you, sir. We're at $16.99. And now we're going to take a trip to Chicago, Illinois. Lots happening there in Chicago. The FBI director weighing in. We got Stephen Miller. Oh, and this bizarre moment. Do we have that bizarre moment? I don't know. Maybe we do. Maybe we didn't bookmark it. Oh, yes, the bizarre glitch that happened with Stephen Miller. Was it intentional? I don't know. Pritzker. Wow. All right. So much to get to here in this segment. Do we have, Todd, do we have that dispatch image? Because I don't think I don't see it in here. Yes, there it is. Okay. Sometimes it takes a second for all these clips to load up. All right, don't go anywhere, folks. We are not done yet. I see you thinking about it. I see you. That's right. A line was crossed in Chicago this weekend that should terrify every American. When anarchists surrounded federal law enforcement officers, when agents called 911 begging for backup, the unthinkable happened. Chicago police were ordered to stand down, not delayed, not diverted, ordered to abandon fellow officers who are under attack. The audio exists. The proof is undeniable. What you're about to hear isn't just shocking, it's absolutely criminal. See, this is what happens when politicians put illegal aliens above the rule of law, when ideology trumps officer safety, when a city's leadership declares war on its own country. The recordings will chill you to the bone, so keep on watching. Now, Medicare is confusing by design. Endless mailers, fine print, and pushy sales calls. That's why most seniors end up on the wrong plan without even knowing it, and it's costing them thousands of dollars every year, and that's where Chapter comes in. Chapter makes Medicare simple. In less than 20 minutes, they'll compare every single plan available, over 24,000 nationwide, and help you find the one that fits you. On average, seniors who work with Chapter save $1,100 a year, and here's what makes them different. Chapter's advisors are independent. They're salaried, not paid commission to steer you into certain plans. That means they actually work for you, not the insurance companies. The call is completely free, and if you're already on the right plan, they will tell you. No pressure, just peace of mind. But here's the thing. The annual enrollment period is here, and that means right now is the time to make sure you are not overpaying or stuck in the wrong plan for another year. So don't wait. Call Chapter today. That number on the screen is 910-728-4109. Again, that's 910-728-4109. You can also visit askchapter.org/next. But the fastest way is to pick up the phone and give them a call at 910-728-4109. And we thank Chapter for sponsoring this program. So lots to unpack from the weekend. Secretary Noem posting this just 72 hours ago. My team and I were just blocked from accessing the Village of Broadview Municipal Building in Illinois. We were stopping for a quick bathroom break. This is a public building. The Village of Broadview receives at least $1 million in federal funding every year. This is how J.B. Pritzker and his cronies treat our law enforcement. Absolutely shameful. Look at this.
Use your restroom? Can we use your restroom? No, you cannot. We can?
Okay. All right. Thank you. Interesting. That's what Governor Pritzker says is cooperation in keeping people safe.
Wow.
So why wouldn't they let you in? What's been going on here? What's been going on here, Secretary?
We were coming to go out and do some operations to pick up some guys with criminal convictions on them, and the city police wouldn't even let us use a restroom.
And you were just blocked by a worker here for the city?
A worker at the municipal building here in Broadmoor would not allow us to go in and to use a restroom at the police station. So as much as these local leaders and governors talk about cooperating and having the backs of our law enforcement officers, this is what we have to put up with every single day. And all we're doing is getting criminals and terrorists and cartels and gang members off the streets to make families safer here. It's ridiculous.
Wow. Can't even use the bathroom. Illinois Review reporting 48 hours ago, President Trump is going to federalize 300 Illinois National Guard members and deploy them to Chicago. Pritzker angrily announced on Saturday. FBI Director Kash Patel, 24 hours ago, the FBI just arrested 2 individuals who were allegedly driving vehicles and attacking our federal law enforcement officers. They've been charged for assaulting federal officers with a deadly or dangerous weapon. Attack our law enforcement, and this FBI will find you. This is the video that triggered the stand-down order by Chicago police. This is the video where Miramar Martinez, a.k.a. Lil La Maggie, rammed a white DHS vehicle who had their emergency lights on. Another DHS black USV then attempts to ram them. So there's the hit. That is La Maggie, I guess, allegedly. Wow. Just ramming the car. Unbelievable. These people are just out of their minds. This is Chicago. This is what kicked it all off, I believe. Oh, my goodness. And then that's the second DHS vehicle blocking them in. This is madness. And then they try to drive off. Dude. This is out of control. You can see the flashing lights. Let's see if there's audio on this. No, there's just music. You could see the truck blocking. Agents standing. Holy cow. So the SUV went off-road. Got stuck in a construction zone. ICE agents, federal agents, fully loaded, fully armed, working to push back any spectators. But apparently this whole situation just spirals out of control. Now, I think we have the audio for this. Let's see if we can track that real quick. CBS. Okay, so is this it? ICE trying to incite violence? No, that's not it. Let's see. Where's the audio track? Oh, this is the actual image. You can see it on your screen. This has been circulating. You may have seen this. No units will respond to this. Chicago police tells officers no units will respond as protesters surround federal agents. That is a screenshot of the police computer inside one of the squad cars. Pritzker freaking out. Do we have the audio? Where is the audio? I want to get to that right away. This must be dispatch audio. Here we go.
Any kind of particular hairstyle? Okay. Any kind of particular hairstyle? Just younger male Hispanic on foot wearing all black?
No hairstyle.
Okay. 10-4. And one is for the hit and run. This guy fled from the scene at 37th Place in Kedzie. It all started at I-55 in Kedzie. Then they fled southbound at Kedzie, where that offending vehicle crashed. They ran the federal agent off the road. They fled on foot westbound 37th Place from Kedzie. It was a male Hispanic younger wearing all black clothing. 99.
Yeah, send the cars in that direction. Have them stay put 2 or 3 blocks away, all right? Have them hold tight until I give you further direction, please.
Okay, 10-4. And for the units responding to 39th Place in Kedzie per 999, if you guys can just... For the units responding to 39th Place in Kedzie, if you guys can start heading there as quick as you can. and then just hold tight for instructions with 999.
999.
999.
So the chief of patrol, clear everybody up. We're not responding over there.
Radio check. And again, per the chief of patrol, we have all the units that per 999. Chief of patrol said all units clear out from there. We're not sending anybody over to that location.
62, we're going to clear out as soon as we can, Spot. We're like locked in over here, so we're going to do the best we can to get out of here as soon as we can.
Oh my God.
Okay. Any kind of particular hairstyle, just younger male Hispanic on foot wearing all black?
Oh my God! They let him hang out to.
Okay.
They let him hang out to dry. 5 hours ago, Chicago police say that blocking police is illegal, and yet Democrats are telling people to do it.
Federal agents, ICE, HSI, are officers. They are agents of law enforcement. If you box them in with vehicles, it is reasonable for them to believe that they are being ambushed and that this could end in a deadly situation. And it's reasonable for them to use force based on those conditions. Do not box in any law enforcement officer. You are breaking the law when you do that. And you are putting yourself in danger.
And that's what we saw.
Following law enforcement agents around. The question is why? What do you plan on doing? It's also reasonable for them to believe that you're eventually going to do harm to them. If you ram any vehicle, especially that one that contains law enforcement agents, and that's any law enforcement, local, state, federal, county, and you do this intentionally, this is considered deadly force. Deadly force is anything that can cause great bodily harm or death. When you plow into a vehicle that contains law enforcement agents, you're using deadly force.
Clearly, the Chicago police chief, superintendent, is pissed off. Pritzker, though, he doesn't care. He calls them Secretary Nome's thugs.
Their plan. I refuse to let Donald Trump, Kristi Noem, and Gregory Bovino continue on this march toward autocracy. Wow. Their plan all along has been to cause chaos, and then they can use that chaos to consolidate Donald Trump's power. They think they can fool us all into thinking that the way to get out of this crisis that they created is to give them free rein. Well, that plan will only work if we let it. The state of Illinois is going to use every lever at our disposal to resist this power grab and get Noem's thugs the hell out of Chicago.
Holy cow. He literally just called ICE agents thugs.
I'm not afraid. I am not afraid, and I won't back down.
The only thing you're afraid of, buddy, is an empty buffet. Here we have more from Illinois Governor Pritzker. Says it's illegal to call out the National Guard.
Well, let's be clear that it is illegal, in fact, to call out the National Guard or to send troops into American cities. The Posse Comitatus Act prohibits that. And yet they tried to do it in Oregon. They're going to try to do it here in Chicago.
Who's going to stop them?
Well, the courts. That's who's going to stop them. And that's what happened in Oregon. I assume that a court here will do the same thing. These are federal courts. By the way, the judge that made that decision in Oregon, a Trump-appointed judge. So even they recognize, the Trump-appointed judges, that Donald Trump has gone way beyond the Constitution, is violating law. Well, let's be clear that it is illegal, in fact, to call out the National Guard or to...
Now, what happens if that National Guard... Here, look at this. Here's Roger Stone's response. Except in time of national emergency, such as the emergency you have created on the ground in Chicago, responding directly to Governor Pritzker. Except in times of national emergency. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson announcing he signed an executive order creating ICE-free zones to ban ICE agents from staging for raids on illegal aliens and Antifa terrorists. Insurrection Act of 1807 now. More National Guard, says A.J. Huber.
Raids. And today we are signing an executive order aimed at reining in this out-of-control administration. The order establishes ICE-free zones.
Unbelievable.
That means that city property and unwilling private businesses will no longer serve as staging grounds for these raids. And today we are signing an executive order.
ICE-free zones. That's absolutely insane. Gunther Eagleman writes, Pritzker's breaking a sweat from getting so worked up over the deportation operations happening in the city. He says he refuses to let DHS continue any deportation operations in his state. He writes, I hope that Bongino surges all operations in Chicago. All gas, no brakes.
Multiple apartments. So even though they documented the raid, their propaganda video conveniently left out important facts.
Oh, did it?
In the dead of night, and seemingly for the cameras, armed federal agents emerged from the Black Hawk helicopters, rappelling onto the roof of that apartment building.
Now, if you recall, we covered this last week. It was like 300 agents in a coordinated raid on an apartment building that contained Tren de Aragua gang members who were squatting in apartments.
According to media reports, the agents ransacked multiple apartments and detained almost everyone in the building, including U.S. citizens and children who had done nothing wrong. Witnesses told reporters that federal officers zip-tied the hands of people, including children and seniors. Some, including U.S. citizens, were detained in the back of vans for hours. Seemingly proud of this shameful treatment of innocent people, they recorded it, and Kristi Noem posted the video, bragging about the operation. Since we sat through that propaganda, I think it's important to hear directly from members of the community who experienced this takeover of the building.
Neighbors like Ebony Watson says they ducked for cover as they heard several flashbangs go off.
They was terrified. The kids was crying. People was screaming. They looked very distraught. I was out there crying when I seen the little girl come around the corner. Because they was bringing the kids out too. Had them zip tied to each other. That's all I kept asking. Where's the morality? Where's the human?
We actually we have the video he's referencing here. I just found it. She writes, Secretary Noem, Chicago, we are here for you.
Go, push! Get out of the way for the Bearcat! Clear the way for the Bearcat! Of course, Governor Pritzker is going to cherry pick the reactions from Chicago's residents.
Here is President Trump confirming he has no problem invoking the Insurrection Act.
Reason over a weekend. What?
The Insurrection Act, under what conditions or terms would you?
Well, I do it if it was necessary. So far, it hasn't been necessary, but we have an Insurrection Act for a reason. If I had to enact it, I'd do that. If people were being killed and courts were holding us up, or governors or mayors were holding us up, sure, I'd do that. I mean, I want to make sure that people aren't killed. We have to make sure that our cities are safe over a weekend.
He has no problem invoking the Insurrection Act. Jelly Belly Pritzker, 9 hours ago, Illinois is taking the Trump administration to court for their unlawful and unconstitutional deployment of military troops in our state. Thank you, Illinois Attorney General Raoul, for helping defend the rule of law. Meanwhile, the Chicago Federation of Police President John Catanzara reveals the chief of patrol is notorious for lying, and reveals that CPD leadership is terrified of Mayor Brandon Johnson and Democrat politicians if they respond to ICE agents in distress. How freaking sad.
Computer to bring this to your attention, John, because there seems to be a discrepancy here, a 41-minute hole between the time that the call went out from CPD for assistance, from CBP to assistance from the Chicago Police Department to when, quote, additional units were rolled out there. We also have, and let's put this up, this is call for number 5 here. This is the computer-aided dispatch system. At the bottom of the screen, because the timeline increases as you go further up. Caller is one of approximately 30 armed Border Patrol agents who are being surrounded by a large crowd of people requesting CPD. A number of minutes later, at 12:34, Chief of Patrol, no units will respond to this. And then as we just heard from the superintendent, John, at 1:09, units were rolled. So could it be that units were told not to respond and then later were dispatched to respond?
Could it be? That's factually what happened. And the reality is somebody's lying here, whether it's the Chief of Patrol or Unit 999. And I could tell you, I personally know that lieutenant, and he has an impeccable record. On the other hand, the Chief of Patrol, not so much. He's been notorious for lying and stomping on anybody to get to where he's gotten to this point. Do I think he gave that order? Absolutely. And I think the lieutenant was just relaying what that phone call reiterated to him to not send anybody over there, because sadly this department is in literally a shell of itself and so fearful of what politicians and this mayor are going to do to them if they respond. Every single citizen, the sanctity of life is what this city supposedly cares about. That doesn't discriminate between civil law enforcement. If someone's calling for help, we are obligated to go. And this person should be taken out of his basically assignment right now, stripped of his police powers and removed from command. He has no business wearing a badge.
To bring this
about 10 vehicles, one of which had a
Sorry, Pritzker, Chicago police ordered not to help ICE. ICE under attack as Chicago tensions escalate. J.B. Pritzker is putting politics ahead of public safety.
Incident occurred after. We believe this comes from the top. It looks like J.B. Pritzker is putting politics ahead of public safety, ahead of our law enforcement, their safety. The facts on the ground are the fact that our law enforcement were being rammed by vehicles, about 10 vehicles, one of which had a semi-automatic firearm on her. She also had a history of trying to dox and encouraging the threatening of these agents. After this incident occurred, after this attack occurred, our law enforcement were then surrounded by a violent crowd who began to throw bottles and rocks at our agents. They called for backup from the local police department, but no, they wouldn't respond. And in fact, our ICE ERO agents had to respond, who were later actually then attacked again with a vehicle as they were trying to respond. There's viral images of that going on across the internet. So we're seeing that more and more of these violent activists are using their vehicles as a weapon, as a tactic against our law enforcement. J.B. Pritzker, though, Our message to him, go walk your streets. Go see the violent crime against your constituents. Go see the violent crime against our own law enforcement, because he continues to go on CNN and MSNBC and whitewash the facts. He's saying that we're using racial profiling to go after people. That's absolutely not true. We are targeting criminals who have perpetuated very horrendous violence against the people of Chicago, and yet he continues to lie on air and say that we are arresting children, zip tying children. These are fake images that have continued to be debunked. J.B. Pritzker needs to get a spine. He needs to stand up for the people of Chicago, because if not, we will continue to flood the zone and surge federal resources to make sure the people of Chicago and the people of Illinois are safe again. We believe this comes from the top. It looks like...
Of course it comes from the top. All the way at the top. 30 people were shot in Chicago this weekend. Pritzker doing nothing about it. Black residents ripping at Mayor Johnson for blocking Trump and ICE from deporting illegal immigrants in Chicago. This was, I think, last summer. But they are still furious. Brandon Johnson doing nothing except ordering stand-downs. Let's see, do we have, here's Stephen Miller. This is just a couple hours ago, a gaggle outside the White House. Listen.
Unlawful exercise. The struggle that's taking place right now is between the lawful exercise of power by the American people through a duly elected government versus the unlawful exercise of street violence in the form of domestic terrorism. So, again, the clearest example of this is when you have ICE officers who are carrying out the statutes and laws of the United States to arrest and remove illegal aliens who are being subjected to violent attacks in the conduct of their duties. That's an example of illegitimate violence, illegitimate power in the form of domestic terrorism being used to impede the conduct of their official duties. The answer to that in a civilized, modern, civilized society is to use legitimate state power. Grand juries, subpoenas, arrest warrants, search warrants, and every other federal power at the disposal of the commander-in-chief to identify and find everybody who is trying to use the real and actual threat of violence to impede the conduct of these federal responsibilities and ensure that they're placed behind bars. I'm not going to give you any advanced information about what these investigations have yielded so far. The Joint Terrorism Task Force has the lead, but they have found that these campaigns, that's not, of course, only against ICE officers. There's also a conversation we're having about the assassination of Charlie Kirk, the 2 attempted assassinations against President Trump, the assassination of the United Healthcare CEO, the attempted assassination of Justice Kavanaugh, which, of course, had an insane sentence of 8 years. So it's the broader spectrum of political violence. But obviously, ICE as an agency has been subjected to a 9-month effort to substitute left-wing violence for the votes of the American people. No federal officer in the conduct of their duties should have to worry about being physically attacked, being physically obstructed, being physically impeded, being doxxed, having a bounty put on them. And the fact that Democrat politicians are trying to normalize this really indicates how far we've gone as a society, that there is not universal condemnation of this organized campaign of violence against ICE officers. The struggle is taking place.
Oh, man. Stephen Miller wasn't done, though. He went on CNN, and there was a bizarre moment that took place. I think we've got it here. Yeah. A bizarre technical glitch hit CNN right as Stephen Miller was getting to the heart of a district judge ruling on National Guard deployment. Miller cut off mid-sentence, unable to finish his explanation. The host, Boris Sanchez, eventually cut in. Listen to this.
A few months ago,
by the way, you've called the district judge's ruling blocking the deployment of National Guard in Oregon legal insurrection. Does the administration still plan to abide by that ruling?
Well, the administration filed an appeal this morning with the Ninth Circuit. I would note the administration won an identical case in the Ninth Circuit just a few months ago with respect to the federalizing of the California National Guard. Under Title 10 of the U.S. Code, the president has plenary authority.
Stephen?
What happens?
Stephen?
He just stops talking.
Hey, Stephen, can you hear me?
It's like everything went black on his side or something. It's weird.
It seemed, Stephen, I apologize. It seems like we're having a technical issue. We'll try to fix that. And
yeah, I'm sure it's a technical issue, right? I mean, it is CNN. Here's some more from that interview. Maybe they got the connection fixed, whatever.
Is it the case that, as Pritzker frames it, you are profiling brown people, that this immigration crackdown is designed to go after people of color?
It's such a, oh, what a dumb question. The illegal aliens who are here are taking jobs away from blacks, they're taking jobs away from whites, they're taking jobs away from Latinos, they're taking their health benefits away, they're taking their school slots away, and of course in many cases they're committing heinous crimes. We cannot have a system of law in this country that privileges illegal aliens over American citizens, and that's what they're doing. You know it, and I know it.
So that's not exactly a no, Stephen. Can you just unequivocally state that the immigration
I said it's a dumb question. Okay.
Well, I appreciate
no,
that, but
and it's a dumb question.
So no, this policy is not designed.
No, and it's a dumb question. In the press briefing room today, Leavitt defends Trump's urban mission. National Guard working with local police in D.C., Memphis, and beyond. Results speak loud. Crime down, streets safer. Only Democrat mayors refuse help because they hate President Trump.
Justification for the Democrats have questioned and scrutinized the president's comments about using potentially the military, American cities, as training grounds for the military. And when you look at Portland, Chicago, local and state officials say that their local law enforcement is able to handle the situations, these protests on the ground. The president says that Portland is burning, using that as justification for the National Guard in Portland. But when you look here in Washington, D.C., the president just last week said it is now a completely safe city, and there are still National Guard members on the streets that are not involved in ICE activities. Can you provide the justification for the White House here in Washington, D.C., why the National Guard members continue to be out on the streets?
Because Washington, D.C. has invited the National Guard here. Why? Because the mayor is doing the right thing, unlike mayors in other cities like Portland, as Caitlin and others have pointed out, who refuse to see that there are positive results from when local law enforcement works with federal law enforcement to do the right thing on behalf of their citizens. And Washington, D.C. is no doubt a safer city right now today than it was a few months ago when President Trump started this initiative to make D.C. safe again. And the National Guard is still here because the president and the mayor agree that it's a good thing for the city. Just like you're seeing in Memphis, for instance. We'll have National Guard deployed to Memphis. We have federal agents who are on the ground working with state and local law enforcement. The state police in Tennessee are part of this effort. The local metropolitan police in Memphis are part of this effort. State and local law enforcement and federal law enforcement should be working together. And it's a shame that we see in some cities across the country that their mayors are just simply refusing to cooperate because they don't like Donald Trump. And that's what this boils down to. And I don't think any American would disagree that Chicago needs more law enforcement reinforcements, that they need more resources. Look at this headline from over the weekend. At least 30 people shot during the weekend in Democrat-run Chicago. 5 of them were killed in one weekend. This is completely unacceptable, and the president wants to make American cities safer, and he's willing to work with anyone to do it.
Democrats have...
Wow. Here's more. National Guard help, not a takeover. Media smearing Trump is militarizing cities. Leavitt snaps back.
Or the National Guard. If the courts allow you to ultimately send in the National Guard into Chicago and Portland, do Democrats not have reason to be concerned that there are long-term plans by this administration to keep U.S. military or the National Guard in American cities, like what we're seeing here in Washington?
Why should they be concerned about the federal government offering help to make their cities a safer place? They should be concerned about this. They should be concerned about the fact that people in their cities right now are being gunned down every single night. And the president, all he's trying to do is fix it. And there has been a complete smear campaign by the Democrats and the media, quite frankly. I was reading Political Playbook this morning, one of the most inside the Beltway newsletters you can find. And you guys are framing this like the president wants to take over the American cities with the military. The president wants to help these local leaders who have been completely ineffective in securing their own cities. And we have already seen there's a positive formula for that. Look at Washington, D.C. The murder rate has declined significantly. Our streets are safer. People who live here feel safer. All of you in this room, I know you do, you just won't admit it. And it's a proven system that works, and the president wants to make America's cities safe again. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
And there isn't anything wrong with it. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is what insurrection looks like in 2025. Not with muskets and cannons, but with stand-down orders and political cowardice. When a city's leadership tells its police force to abandon federal officers under attack, they've crossed from politics into treason. I mean, think about what this means. Tomorrow, it could be FBI agents hunting child traffickers. Next week, DEA agents breaking up fentanyl rings. Any federal officer doing their job in Chicago is now a target without backup. Pritzker and Johnson have turned the Windy City into a sanctuary for criminals and a death trap for law enforcement. They've chosen sides, and it's not America's side. You see, this is bigger than immigration. This is about whether we're still one nation under law. So here's my question. Should federal officers be authorized to arrest any local official who orders police to abandon them? Let's have a conversation. Sound off below. Remember, if you want to support our mission here at the Next News Network, visit shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, because there's gear there that shows you stand with law and order. Wow. Absolutely insane. Chicago, man. Now we're going to move into what's going on in Portland and Memphis. Holy cow, the video out of Portland and Memphis is absolutely insane. Caitlin Collins was actually asked about it in the and Caroline Leavitt let her have it in the briefing room today. You could just go there yourself, she says, and see for yourself what's going on. Let's see. Let's see here. I think we'll start with that from the press briefing today. That's where we'll start. We're at 2698 in Super Chats. Send them in. We're going to read them. Help us hit our goal of $100 today. Oh, look at that. Alex Bleeping Jones drops $2. Trump is still being soft as a baby poop on these people. Alex Bleeping Jones. Love it. All right. There you go, man. All right. Thanks for that. Now we're at 2898. And Duplicate sent 5 Next News memberships out. Thank you for doing that. Okay. 2 American cities, 2 responses to chaos, 1 story that reveals everything about leadership under pressure. In Portland, anarchists control entire city blocks while federal judge blocks the National Guard. Antifa militants attack federal officers with impunity while police warn citizens they'll be arrested for driving down their own streets. Meanwhile, reports from Memphis paint a very different picture. Sources claim the National Guard deployment there has led to major arrests and recovered missing children. Citizens are reportedly celebrating in the streets, but what's really happening in these cities? The contrast between federal intervention accepted versus federal help rejected tells a story about America's future. What you're about to see will make you question everything, so keep on watching. And just like 2 cities show us the importance of making the right choices for our safety, you need to make the right choice for your skin's health. A meta-analysis of 23 controlled trials proved that collagen supplements deliver real improvements in skin hydration and elasticity. That's why I use Ageless Multi-Collagen. It's transformed my skin with 5 types of premium collagen. I've seen smoother skin, fewer fine lines, and a youthful glow. Plus, improved joint health and bone strength. Get 51% off at healthwithgary.com right now. They're including free VIP coaching, a skin health ebook, and free shipping. That's healthwithgary.com. Now, we're going to start by taking a trip to the White House in the press briefing room, and then we're going to show you this remarkable video that was captured in Portland that will just, it's going to burn you up. But first, let's check in with the press secretary from earlier today.
A federal judge over the weekend that the president had appointed to the bench.
So this is, just for the record, this is Caitlin Collins, CNN, asking Caroline Leavitt. And this is important context. You'll understand in a moment.
A federal judge over the weekend that the president had appointed to the bench in his first term in office basically argued that he could not deploy other states' National Guards to Portland, basically said that it was untethered, his argument, to what is actually happening on the ground. Which local officials in Portland have said that the National Guard is needed there?
With all due respect to that judge, I think her opinion is untethered in reality and in the law. The president is using his authority as Commander-in-Chief, U.S. Code 12406, which clearly states that the president has the right to call up the National Guard in cases where he deems it's appropriate. And if you look at what has happened in Portland, Oregon, for more than 100 nights, I was talking to our law enforcement team about it this morning, for more than 100 days, night after night after night, the ICE facility has been really under siege by these anarchists outside. They have been disrespecting law enforcement. They've been inciting violence. We saw, again, a guillotine rolled out in front of this federal building. And so the president wants to ensure that our federal buildings and our assets are protected. And that's exactly what he's trying to do. And ultimately, in the case in Los Angeles, that judge ruled in the Ninth Circuit, that panel of judges ruled that those troops could remain and that the president was well within his authority to do so. So we are appealing that decision. As you know, we expect a hearing on it pretty quickly, and we're very confident in the president's legal authority to do this, and we're very confident we will win on the merits of the law.
But no local officials that you can point to that have said we need the National Guard? Because I spoke to the police chief of Portland last week. He said that the president's claims just don't match up with what's happening on the ground.
I would encourage you as a reporter to go on the ground and to take a look at it for yourself, because there's been many members of the press, not press in this room, but independent journalists, some of whom we'll be inviting to the White House very soon to share their stories, because they have been in the middle of these riots and they have witnessed the anarchy that is taking place night after night. It's on video. You should play it on your show. You have a great opportunity in prime time on CNN to show your audience. Yeah, but you're probably talking to partisan Democrat officials who are opposed to everything this president does. You should also ask the people who live in Portland. We've actually heard from many members of the community who have said that this is complete civil disobedience. It's a mess. It's been loud. It's been troubling for neighbors in the community who are just trying to live peacefully. And these people are not there to peacefully protest. They are there to cause mayhem and havoc.
A federal judge over the weekend.
So she calls out Caitlin Collins. Says, why don't you play some of the clips from Portland? So Rapid Response 47 post says, here you go, Caitlin Collins, for your show, even though nobody will be watching. This was posted by 3 Jane TV Rapid Response. Look at the mayhem. You will not see that on CNN. This is the footage that CNN refuses to air. This is what Caroline Leavitt says to Caitlin. Why don't you show this stuff? You have an opportunity to show your viewers. Rapid Response says nobody will be watching. Oh, but there's more. Homeland Security says they're not sending their best. Join ICE.gov. Here's more from Portland. U.S. Immigrations and Customs. Portland refused to walk. We'll give you a free ride. And it looks like we have an Antifa terrorist on a cart being dragged off. They see me rolling. Trying to catch me riding dirty. Yeah, that's what they're doing here. That person is riding dirty. They are cuffed, and they are rolling on a cart. Looks like they're being taken into an ICE facility for processing. Here's more. This is wild. Antifa spitting at a federal agent on the face and immediately regrets it. Watch this.
You guys don't belong here! Go back to the fucking South where you belong! Fuck you! You are protecting pedophiles! You are protecting Get out of our city! Get out of our state! Get out of here, bitch! Get out of our state!
And he goes down. What an idiot. Let's watch that in slow motion, shall we? There it is. There's a spit. Boom. And the grab. And he is down. What an idiot. Was it worth it, bro? Was it worth it? Is that so you could post in your Discord chat with all your Antifa buddies? How you're such a badass? But I'm sure Kamala Harris has a fund for his bond. Let's see. I think we have... here is more. DHS agents ripping down a massive Abolish ICE banner outside the ICE facility in Portland 24 hours ago. Trump's DHS has made it very clear they will not bow down to Antifa, even if Portland police refuse to assist. But of course, Caitlin Collins wants to present that, there's nothing wrong in Portland. 17 hours ago, Matt Tardio writes, calling all patriots today, October 6th, after Nick's orders, arraignment 2 p.m., PDX Justice Center. We are claiming our own medic tents. Antifa isn't allowed to walk through them. That standard Portland police have set. We shall see if the law is equally enforced.
Sidewalks and... Hey, what's going on, America? I know you guys just saw my video with Nick Sortor getting assaulted trying to walk down the street by Antifa. So, here's what we're going to do. Because the Portland police, I don't think it matters if you want to walk down the street. Antifa's allowed to own this side of the street over here. These are alleged medic tents. So this is what we're going to do tomorrow. Tomorrow, this side of the street is going to belong to us. Because apparently, you can just claim sidewalks in Portland as your own and prevent anybody from moving down them. So my curiosity is simply whether or not we are going to be held to the same standard as Antifa. Because I know for a fact that people that live in this building, because I've talked to them all day long, they are actually upset of all the tear gas, all the rioting, everything else that's going on inside that building. So, I'm checking out my hotel tomorrow. And you know what? I'm a Green Beret. I've slept in a hell of a lot worse places than the streets of Portland. I need some folks to help me pull Firewatch. Get down here. We are literally setting up tents. We're going to own that place. And honestly, if there's not a freaking tent right here tomorrow, I'm on that one too. Hey, what's going on?
It is a war in Portland. Stephen Miller pushing back against CNN, arguing the National Guard isn't needed in Republican-led cities because local police are effectively maintaining order. Yeah, right.
Kids. If a Democratic president someday calls the National Guard to a red state over what they see as open rebellion, but is what amounts to a demonstration that gets rowdy. I mean, is that not a fear?
They're posting pictures of their kids because it's a demonstration, and they have a sniper on top of a building firing a high-caliber rifle at a nice facility because it's a demonstration, and they are engaging in vehicle ramming attacks.
But the National Guard isn't being sent to Texas.
Because it's a
the National Guard isn't being sent to Dallas, where that sniper was.
Because the Dallas Police Department and the governor of Texas, well, you walked right into that one. have responded to every call for assistance and help. They gave a stand-down order in Chicago, and they gave a stand-down order in Portland. Do you realize that there's 11,000 federal law enforcement officers in Oregon? That's larger than the size of the FBI. Local and state police are resourced to deal with this kind of riotous assembly, but they have refused. They've been given a stand-down order. So
they've arrested some 70 people since June. They've been arresting folks on the ground. They've been arresting folks on the ground. They refute what you're saying outright.
We literally have the 911 audio of the stand-down order in Chicago, and we have documented inside of DHS every single unresponded to 911 call over the recent weeks and months.
If a Democratic...
You walked right into that one. National Guard. Here is more from Stephen Miller engaging on CNN.
The covered part. Well, the administration will abide by the ruling insofar as it affects the covered parties. But there are also many other options the president has to deploy federal resources and assets under the U.S. military to Portland. But I was making the point that under federal law, Section Title 10 of the U.S. Code, the president has the authority anytime he believes federal resources are insufficient to federalize the National Guard to carry out a mission necessary for public safety. So it's important to understand that in Portland, ICE officers have been subjected to over 100 nights of terrorist assault, doxing, murder threats, violent attack, and every other means imaginable to try to overturn the results of the last election through violence. The most important point I want to make today is that the number 1 and 2 items in the GOP platform in 2024 were to turn back the border invasion and carry out the largest deportation program in American history. Since Inauguration Day, there's been an orchestrated campaign of terrorism and violence against ICE officers. Of course, we saw the recent sniper attack against ICE officers. They're publishing their families' photos online. They're threatening them with murder. They're threatening them with death. And they're physically attacking them in the street each and every day. And yet, shamefully, the mayor and governor in Portland and Oregon have refused to render aid, leaving ICE officers to street fight every single night against these terrorists. Well,
Yeah, you saw the video. You see what the street fighting looks like. It's out of control. Let's see. Meager Portland law enforcement. This is from U.S. Immigration and Customs. Meager Portland law enforcement support after 100 nights of violent demonstrations by agitators at ICE office. Too little, too late. It wasn't until President Trump actually showed the strength to say, we're going to protect our ICE agents. We're going to send in the National Guard. Here's another one. Front lines from TPUSA. MAGA patriot Thomas Allen was taken into custody by Portland police Sunday outside the ICE facility. He's accused of assaulting an Antifa militant. Cho Show briefly spoke with Allen, who claims it was self-defense after reviewing video from a live stream. It appears to show Allen unloading a devastating right hook at a guy running towards his direction. Allen was targeted by far-left activists and harassed all night for wearing a Trump cap and a Charlie Kirk Freedom shirt. He was arrested a few days ago for knocking out another far-left activist.
Absolutely wild scene unfolding right outside the ICE facility. After Nick Sorter was trying to show what was happening inside the Antifa refueling tent, an absolute melee broke out.
I don't know, man. I got
Thomas Allen, he was been targeted all evening for wearing MAGA gear, his MAGA cap and wearing the Charlie Kirk shirt. He just got arrested. They just took his MAGA cap. Whoa, 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 whoa. Wow, you saved the MAGA cap. You saved it. All right, Thomas Allen's being escorted out by Portland PD. Allen's being targeted again by Antifa militants. They tried to steal his MAGA cap. Portland PD is arresting Thomas Allen. Wow. They're taking him in zip ties. So, again, this is the type of powder keg and ecosystem that has continued to explode out of control here in Portland. City officials continue to allow and enable this situation, and there's absolutely no end in sight.
Yeah, they're arresting MAGA supporters when they should be arresting Antifa. Think about that for a second. Now, what's this? We have more. Portland police actively defending Antifa militants, telling local residents they will be arrested if they drive down Antifa-controlled streets. Residents are fed up by the occupation. President Trump must liberate Portland. Watch this.
Try to play that game. You guys didn't do anything about this. What are you doing? That way. Do not go to the crowd of people. If you go to this crowd of people, you will be stopped and arrested. Thank you. Do not try to play that game with me right now. Man, do not play that game with me right now. We're not going to a crowd of people in this car. Back it up and take a left. If you go to this crowd of people, you will be arrested. Ma'am, I am telling you, if you go to this crowd of people, you will be arrested. All right, get out of the way. I'll take care of it. Get out of the way. I'll take care of it. Get out of my way. You're not going to this crowd. I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. Back up and take a left. You can get through the gap that way. You're not going this way. Back up. If you're not going to listen to my orders, then it's your choice. I am giving you an order right now. Back this vehicle up. It is a public road, but right now there are people occupying it. A car does not supersede people.
Anymore. The federal government came in to punch your ass. Watch me get this lady out of here. All these motherfuckers, and you can't get this lady out of here. You're fucking incompetent. You're all a bunch of losers and dying to
Yeah, back up. We'll deal with it. Thank you, sir. And we know it's a headache between us. Please back up. I appreciate it.
Portland is under siege, folks. And I think we got something for President Trump here. Here he is, outside Marine One.
Portland is burning to the ground. You have agitators, insurrectionists. All you have to do is look at the television, turn on your television, read your newspapers. It's burning to the ground. The governor, the mayor, the politicians are petrified for their lives. And you have a judge like that, that judge ought to be ashamed of him.
Portland is burning to the ground. Here's more. President Trump, outside Marine One.
I really believe he's afraid for his life somehow. When you can have 40 or 50 people killed over the last couple of months, hundreds of people wounded, there's no place like that in the world. Hundreds of people wounded, 50, 55 people shot and killed. And Pritzker gets up and says what a wonderful place it is. They need help. Washington, D.C. is now a safe place. You're not going to get mugged or hit. You're not going to get raped. You're not going to get anything. Washington, D.C. went from a hellhole to a safe place. I love the way you nod. Is it true, though? A lot of the people right here were mugged. Reporters. And you know what? You're safe now. Nothing. We've had no crime. It took 12 days to solve the problem, 12 days. And we're going to do that in Chicago. We're going to do that in Portland. Now, Portland's different. That's a bunch of paid insurrectionists. But you have a lot of paid people in Chicago, too. I believe the politicians are under threat because there's no way somebody can say that things are wonderful in Chicago. Almost 55, I think it was 55 people over a short period of time have been murdered in Chicago, have been shot. 222 people over a short period of time have been hit, have been wounded, not died. But 55 people died over a short period of time. You're telling me there's no city in the world like that. We're going to straighten it out. And I think that Pritzker, he's not a stupid person. I think that Pritzker's afraid for his life. I really believe he's afraid for his life somehow.
Pritzker's afraid for his life. This just in a few minutes ago. The Texas National Guard is now mobilizing on orders from Governor Greg Abbott to bolster President Trump's defense of federal sites in Chicago and Portland. So now the Texas National Guard will be deploying to Chicago and Portland. That just happened moments ago, literally minutes ago. So this is developing. The federal judge, however, temporarily blocking the Trump administration from deploying any National Guard troops in Oregon. A Tennessee Democrat fomenting violence over Trump sending a National Guard, accusing Trump of being a white supremacist.
Number of resources Pearson, your reaction.
Yeah, I mean, look, we do not want to see our community being occupied by the military, and we don't want to see over-policing. The solution to the problems that are being articulated is not to increase the number of police, it's to increase the number of resources to actually reduce poverty, to actually educate our population, our children, for the opportunities of the future, and it's to make sure that people have a living wage so that some of the crimes that they commit literally for the need to survive do not happen. We know that gun violence is one of the most significant issues and epidemics in our country. I got expelled because of it. Right? Children under 18 are most likely to die from a bullet than cancer or car accidents. That means laws have to change at the state level. That Governor Bill Lee, Speaker Sexton, Lieutenant Governor Rand McNally need to work on to reduce the amount of access people have to firearms, and that reduces ultimately the amount of crimes that get committed. But you can't pass laws that say, hey, it's okay for you to have guns in your car, and then you complain about people breaking into cars for the firearms that they find there. We have to deal with the systemic root causes of the problems, and black communities should not be the place and the pawns for an authoritarian, wannabe dictator, white supremacist gain. And that's what we're...
Oh, wow. Okay, but can we cite crime statistics, or is that racist too? Trump informing Pritzker he's federalizing 300 Illinois National Guard troops. Trump, call up your troops or we will, and that's exactly what Trump did. MSNBC not happy with the mayor of Memphis, however, who invited the National Guard in to stop their crime problem.
The Defense Department
about this.
Yeah, Alex, we have not heard from the White House yet about this. I did reach out, but we did hear from the governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, who posted a statement in part, if I can read it to you, saying, quote, this morning, the Trump administration's Department of War, of course, he's referring to the Defense Department, gave me an ultimatum, call up your troops or we will. It is absolutely outrageous and un-American to demand a governor send military troops within our own borders and against our will. Pritzker went on to say in the coming hours, the Trump administration intends to federalize 300 members of the Illinois National Guard. This is something the president has forecasted since at least early September that he wants to do, sending troops, federalizing the National Guard and sending them to Chicago, whether the Democratic governor there likes it or not. The president doing the same in other cities. Of course, here in Washington, D.C., we still see a presence of National Guard troops around the city. The president saying the crime is low now because of it. Of course, the mayor here had somewhat welcomed that development in Memphis last week. We saw federal agents from the DEA, the ATF, the FBI go down into that city to try and help crime there. The Republican governor of that state accepting it, as are some residents. But in this case, in Chicago, in Illinois, you have the governor there saying, we've got this under control. We don't need your help. And the president seemingly going around that. But again, we asked the White House to confirm this. We don't have it confirmed yet from their end. But according to Pritzker, that is the conversation that took place
about this.
Now, what is happening in Memphis? Here we have a patriot in Memphis photobombing CNN with a sign that says Democrats destroyed Memphis as the National Guard begins arriving. The back of the sign says, thank you, President Trump. This man just single-handedly destroyed the BS narrative that CNN was pushing.
Hoping that FBI, it's been an alphabet soup of law enforcement as we've seen them get ready and go out and make runs throughout the day. We know more than 50 arrests were made just last night, 20 guns taken off the street in the last 48 hours. You see people like this who behind me with this sign. He has it on both sides. If you can flip it around and show what he's saying, he's hoping that this action by Trump will help make the city safer. Take a listen to a man that we talked to in a neighborhood that basically says he welcomes the idea of this federal action. FBI.
National Guard deployment. Why Memphis? Why now? Elon Musk is opening a massive AI data center in Memphis. Hard time finding employees to work there because of crime. Send in the Guard. Colossus 1 and 2. That is the data center that Elon Musk is building. This person seems to think that it's some sort of coordinated effort between Elon Musk and Trump because Elon's building a data center. Memphis under heavy security, 150 plus arrests, 5 missing children rescued, the National Guard on the ground. Is this safety or overreach? Rommel Ross writes, and let's see what this woman has to say.
For you, for everyone who didn't want the National Guard and the agencies to come to Memphis, there's been 153 arrests, 5 gang members of those 153, 40-something illegal guns off the street. Okay. 5 missing children have already been recovered. 5. If those 5 children's lives aren't enough to have the entire National Guard and whoever here in our city, if their lives aren't enough for you, then keep being hateful. 5 children have been found. That should say enough. For everyone who didn't want the National Guard and the agencies to come to Memphis.
They are already seeing results. People are saying the thugs destroying Memphis are scared of police and the National Guard. Oh, we just played that woman. Here's more from that resident who had the sign. Memphis citizens are rallying behind President Trump and the National Guard, and residents are reclaiming their city from chaos. If crime goes down, everything changes. We don't have to live like this, says one supporter. Thank you, President Trump.
And what are we doing? Oh, yes.
And tell me why. Why do you support?
Well, for the past 50 to 60 years, the Democrat Party has been in charge of Memphis, and nothing's gotten better. Schools have gotten worse. The crime is out of control, and what are we doing about it? We keep voting for the same people who have the same outlook on life that's not helping anything. Nothing has gotten better.
And so you feel that the Democratic Party...
Who else is responsible?
And so do you feel that the Republican Party is basically doing this to help the city of Memphis?
Well, yeah, if crime goes down, everything changes. We don't have to live like this. Here's what I wish. People would be more upset at the crime happening in their city than Donald Trump sending troops to help the city. You're fighting the wrong fights.
So let me ask, what is your expectation of the forces?
Relief. Just relief. Because I'm tired of hearing the sound, the sounds of gunshots putting my newborn to sleep. We don't got to live like this. It's nonsense. And the Democrat Party has failed us, and it's time that we stop voting these clowns in. It makes no sense.
And what would you like to say to President Donald Trump if he was to hear this?
Thank you. Please send more. Please send as many. Stay as long as you want. Stop by my house. I got Diet Coke for you. Please help us. We actually need help.
Look at that. Man, the people of Memphis, they want help. And they're getting it. President Trump is answering the call. But in Portland, it is just breaking down. CNN's ignoring it. President Trump is not. So we're going to continue to track this. And if you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. This tale of 2 cities exposes the brutal truth about Democrat governance. Portland's leaders have surrendered their streets to anarchists, blocked federal help, and turned their city into a war zone. Meanwhile, Memphis rolling out the red carpet, the welcome mat for Trump's National Guard, and watched their city transform overnight. 150 arrests, 5 missing children found, citizens celebrating in the streets. See, that's what happens when you choose order over chaos, when you put citizens before criminals. Portland's judge claims the Guard deployment is unconstitutional while her own city burns. Memphis's leaders claim their streets back while their people sleep safe. The contrast couldn't be starker. One city's leadership hates Trump more than they love their citizens. The other loves their citizens more than they care about politics. So here's my question. Should federal funding be cut to any city that refuses National Guard help during violent unrest? Yes or no? Let's have a conversation in the comments. And while you're down there, grab some gear at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Audio Alchemist dropping $20 on Rumble. Yeah, baby. We got a Rumble rant. Sweet. So that puts us at $38, $48, $58 in Rumble rants and Super Chats tonight. We're almost at our goal. And we're going to check in with our next topic. What is going on? That was Portland. Now we're going to, we're going to dig into this Russia hoax. New information. Deep state raid secrets now exposed. Wow. Okay. We've been tracking this story for weeks, and tonight the pieces finally fall into place. The Russia hoax scandal that tore this nation apart is back in the headlines with explosive new revelations. Maria Bartiromo and Devin Nunes just exposed that the FBI was really hunting what they really were hunting for at Mar-a-Lago. Not nuclear secrets as was claimed, but a 40-page classified document that could prove Moscow never backed Trump. This file allegedly shows Obama's inner circle knew from day one that Hillary Clinton was framing Trump to distract from her email scandal. The document has vanished from every government archive. No one knows where it is, what they found or didn't find. At Mar-a-Lago, it's all got Washington in full panic, so keep on watching. Now, if you didn't know this, gold has gone mainstream. You're seeing it everywhere. Prices keep climbing. Every day, more and more Americans are catching on to the power of gold. But how do you actually take advantage of it? How do you invest in a way that's safe and simple and built for the long run? Well, that's where Noble Gold Investments comes in. Noble Gold specialists are trained to help investors just like you go from confused to confident, from wondering what's next to knowing exactly what to do. Whether you're looking to roll over an old 401k or into a gold IRA, or you want physical coins and bars delivered right to your home, Noble Gold makes the process simple, safe, and stress-free. You'll get step-by-step guidance, transparent pricing, and U.S.-based service from a team that's handled over $2.5 billion in precious metal transactions. With Noble Gold Investments, protecting and growing your wealth isn't just their job, it is their commitment. Visit nextnewsgold.com to claim your free wealth protection kit and see if you qualify for that silver bonus. That's nextnewsgold.com. Link down below, because Noble Gold is going to help you build a stronger future. Or call that number on the screen, 877-646-5347, and tell Colin that Gary said hello. Now, people are asking questions. We haven't seen a raid of Hillary Clinton's home yet in Chappaqua, New York, but Mar-a-Lago gets raided. Let's take a flashback moment before we dig into the details here. Fox News Channel's Catherine Herridge, Clinton docs, so highly classified even Oversight Chair Jason Chaffetz can't even read them.
That many of them... Now, congressional sources confirming with Fox News the FBI has turned over some of those documents on the Hillary Clinton email investigation to lawmakers, but a lot of that information provided by agents heavily redacted. The Clinton email file given at the request of that Republican-led House Oversight Committee. All this coming after FBI Director James Comey declined to recommend charges in that case. Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge picks up the story from there now in D.C. Good morning, Catherine.
Well, thank you, Bill. The FBI told the House Government Oversight Committee that the documents are classified and cannot be made public without the FBI's consent. The files, including highly classified notes from FBI agents who interviewed Mrs. Clinton, must be kept in a secure facility on Capitol Hill known as a SCIF. And that fact alone is raising questions.
This information being highly classified, according to the FBI, is in direct conflict with what the State Department and Ms. Clinton has said was on the server. You cannot have it both ways. You cannot say one day, this is unclassified, nothing to see here. The next day, only certain people can see this, and therefore you must not be able to take it outside of a secure facility.
Now, what else is happening? We've played this before, but it bears repeating because 20 CIA and FBI insiders have now confirmed that Barack Obama and former CIA director orchestrated the entire Russia hoax and then hid it in a CIA vault for nearly a decade.
Fox News alert, the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, releasing a bombshell report today that shows a conspiracy by a sitting president, Barack Obama, and his intel agencies to sabotage the president-elect, Donald Trump, brainwash the electorate, and undermine the legitimacy of an election.
There is irrefutable evidence that detail how President Obama and his national security team directed the creation of an intelligence community assessment that they knew was false. They knew it would promote this contrived narrative that Russia interfered in the 2016 election to help President Trump win, selling it to the American people as though it were true. It wasn't.
Gabbard got her hands on a House intel report that's been locked away in a CIA vault for almost a decade. Investigators spent over 2,000 hours looking into how the Russia hoax was born, interviewing 20 CIA and FBI officials. And it turns out that the Obama administration doctored the intelligence to make it look like Putin and Trump stole the election.
Now, let's check in with this news. Maria Bartiromo reveals The document the deep state actors were looking for at Mar-a-Lago raid but couldn't find it. Deep state raid secrets exposed. Maria Bartiromo and Devin Nunes blow the lid off what FBI agents were really hunting at Mar-a-Lago. The missing documents tying Obama-era intel chiefs to the Russia hoax. We've got every clip and revelation. So what they were really after. Nunes says transparency under Trump scared the swamp. The Mar-a-Lago raid was the climax of a plot that began in 2016 to hide proof the Russia hoax framed Trump to cover Hillary's emails, and he demands a full investigation. Listen.
Devin, it's great to have you this morning. Welcome back.
Thank you. Great to be with you, Maria.
I want to get your expectation of more charges to come against Jim Comey and more of his colleagues who worked on the Russia collusion story, pushed it through across the world. What are you expecting?
Look, I'm expecting a full investigation. If you look at the transparency that's been brought by the intelligence agencies under Trump, unprecedented level of transparency where we're now finally getting out documents that the American people had never seen. So I think you're beginning to see real clear clairvoyance on what happened between 2016 all the way to the Mar-a-Lago raid. And I think that's where, culminating with the Mar-a-Lago raid, is where I think I really still have a lot of questions of documents that really need to get out there. And I think an investigation needs to kind of start there and go back, because we know for sure what happened in 2016 that Comey was well aware of, is that this was all, the whole Russia hoax was all designed to get Trump because they were worried about her emails coming public back in 2016 before the election. So I think we have real clairvoyance there, Maria. You've covered on your show for many, many years. Where we still are missing information is, how was Jack Smith appointed to go after Trump in 22? Who decided to raid Mar-a-Lago? What documents were they looking for? These are all the questions that still remain to be answered, and I think where the investigators need to start from there and go back.
The grand conspiracy confirmed from 2015 to today. Nunes says intel agencies, fake news, and nonprofits colluded to destroy the most popular Republican since Reagan. The goal: weaponize government, raid his home, and protect one party's power.
15. What is different about grand conspiracy? What does grand conspiracy tell us if, in fact, they are able to put the puzzle together that, yes, this has been a conspiracy since 2015?
Well, I think you just have to answer yourself the common sense question is was it a conspiracy or not? And clearly, unless you've been hiding under a rock somewhere, this has been a conspiracy to weaponize the U.S. intelligence agencies against the most popular Republican since Ronald Reagan, and that is President Trump. He became very popular in 2016, was a popular president, remains popular, was reelected president. It was all designed to target and take down one of your political enemies, so much so that they actually raided his home, a private home of a former president at that time. I mean, these are not things that allow a republic to be in a situation where it can withstand the long run if you have intelligence agencies that are effectively working with the fake news, working with nonprofits, all to benefit one political party. And that's what you've had. So it was a conspiracy. It is a conspiracy. And so whether or not you can make those charges, I'm not a lawyer, never been a prosecutor, but I've done a lot of these investigations. And to me, really what matters is the court of public opinion. What matters are the statutes and law. And I would, from my vantage point, it's pretty clear that there was a conspiracy on a number of fronts. Wow. Most importantly, I think lying and misleading, I think that's a key word, misleading Congress and other investigations. As you know, there were, some 5 different investigations that occurred over the last 7 years as it relates to the Russia hoax, Ukraine impeachment hoax, and all the other hoaxes that did what? Targeted President Trump and his family.
2 dates that expose everything. August 2016, Obama, Biden, Brennan, and Comey learn Hillary's camp is framing Trump. August 2022, the Mar-a-Lago raid by Biden's DOJ. Same actors, same cover-up, same fear. Trump's document proving their guilt. Listen.
Member as And I talked with you throughout this 10-year period over and over again, and I remember many years ago you would say, we've asked them for these documents, we've asked them for that document, and they sat on it and waited and did not give you the documents as chairman of the Intelligence Committee or ranking member as the Intelligence Committee. You demanded these documents. Tell us how specifically Jim Comey and others may have misled you and the Congress.
Yeah, well, I can say this, is that those days are over, right? Now the president has made me chair of his intelligence board. We are working to help declassify where we can all the information that you now are seeing come out. Where I think where it's pretty clear is let's talk about two interesting dates, Maria. One was in August of 2016 in the Obama White House with Biden and a bunch of other cast of characters there, including Comey, including Brennan, where they are told by Brennan that, hey, there's a hoax going on. That's my word. That basically they're looking, the Hillary Clinton campaign and the DNC are looking to frame President Trump, or at that time, candidate Trump, with this Clinton email scandal. If and when these emails come out, they wanted to make it look like it was the Trump campaign working with Putin. They knew that in August of 16. Now, how is it possible that all of these cast of characters that were interviewed by multiple, not only the House Intelligence Committee, but also in the Senate and Horowitz and all the way to Durham, they just had amnesia, just forgot about this. They all those years went by and they don't remember that this was a cover-up for the Hillary Clinton email campaign? Nonsense. We know that's not true. They had to have known it. So what's the other important date? The other important date is in August, ironically, almost 6 years to the day, August of 2022, where they raid Mar-a-Lago. Many of the same people were involved in that. Not Comey, because he had been fired, but others who had been in the first Obama term all the way through were then put into the Biden term. I mean, people like Lisa Monaco, who was the Deputy Attorney General. I find it hard to believe that she was not behind and had knowledge about what happened at the raid of Mar-a-Lago, because I believe that Garland, although maybe he knew about it after the fact, but if you remember, he didn't seem to know much, and they didn't find what they were looking for because it took him 3 days after this magnificent raid with all the cameras there that clearly were tipped off about this Mar-a-Lago raid happening on President Trump. Miraculously, they didn't find anything, and it took Garland 3 days before he came out and made a statement.
3 days. The missing 40-page smoking gun. Nunes revealing the Russia influence assessment declassified in 2020, yet missing from the archives. It proved Moscow never backed Trump. The DOJ raided Mar-a-Lago, hunting that file, and didn't find it.
Assessment. Wow. And Lisa Monaco got a big job now. She's the president of global affairs at Microsoft, which I reported first. Look, I've got the majority staff report right here on the intelligence community assessment of the Russia influence campaign targeting the 2016 election. You believe that was one of the things they were looking for when they raided Mar-a-Lago, but it wasn't there.
Yeah, that's right, because that was supposed to be declassified. We asked President Trump to declassify that in 2020. We were told that it was declassified. We thought that information was going to be at the archives, like all the information should. But then when we asked the archives about it and other people asked the archives for it, it wasn't there. So it's just, and that document's very damaging. It's a 40-page report that House Republicans worked on for a long time. Not only my committee and now now the current chairman Rick Crawford was able to get that information out. It's a very damning report that showed that Russia didn't think that Trump was going to win, which I think we all know. Once again, just common sense in 2016. Why would the Russians be helping someone that they didn't think was going to win?
Wow.
We're in the room. The truth is out. Decade-long conspiracy, vanished documents, a raid that failed. Our cameras credentialed inside the White House. Follow next news for the raw, unfiltered reality from Washington, D.C. And then we have this. Newly released FBI document shows Jack Smith and Biden's FBI spied on Republicans. Because Graham and other senators didn't do anything about spying and endless witch hunts against President Trump and his associates during the Russia hoax, and Mueller, Christopher Wray, and his thugs became emboldened. Here's the document. Federal Bureau of Investigations. FBI agent conducted preliminary toll analysis on limited tolls records associated with the following U.S. senators: Mike Kelly, Lindsey Graham, Bill Hagerty, Josh Hawley, Dan Sullivan, Tommy Tuberville, Ron Johnson, Cynthia Loomis, and Marsha Blackburn. Wow. FBI document shows Jack Smith and Biden's FBI spied on Republicans. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So you see, we watched this story unfold for weeks. Tonight's revelations confirm our worst suspicions. The Russia hoax wasn't just a political dirty trick. It was a coordinated conspiracy at the highest levels of government. They knew Hillary was framing Trump. They had the proof in writing. And now that proof conveniently disappeared. Think about what that means. It means the same people who orchestrated the hoax are the ones who raided Mar-a-Lago, desperately searching for evidence of their own crimes. It's not just about missing documents. It's about a deep state so terrified of exposure they will tear apart a former president's home to find what could destroy them. The cover-up continues, but the truth is breaking through. So here's my question. Should Trump declassify and release every document related to the Russia hoax investigation immediately? Drop a yes or no. Let's have a conversation in the comments and show your support for truth at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Okay, a couple super chats that came through. Studio 053, a coffee cup with the words tired. All right, well, drink up. We got one more to go. Squeeze a lot dropping 10. He's not wrong. Memphis needs education, less drugs, and unified family units. Not previous questionable overcriminalization. No path forward for felons. They 10 to 20 years in prison and no future after. Inbred Outlook dropping 10. Podesta scripted all this. Get him first, then Obama, then Pritzker, then Hitlery. Our boy dropping 10 just 23 seconds ago. I pray arrests are made soon. If they don't, this won't end in memes. It will end in history books. Well, I think Comey's the first domino, Boyd. We're at $65.97 plus that 20 from Rumble. We're $85.97. So we're just about $15 away from our goal. Who will put us over the top tonight? Who will wear the badge of putting us over the top? Will it be you? All right. Let's check in with what is happening, because it's now reached the White House. It is absolutely disgusting. Todd, don't we have the message from President Trump? Didn't he post about it on Truth Social? Okay, I'll find it. Let's see. President Trump. Wait, President Trump posts. Let's see here. Truth Social post. Let's check in. That was 3 days ago. Let's see here. The White House still posting memes. Where is the post? Let's see here. Whoa. Hey. Lone Star Gemini. Hey, putting us over the top. Lone Star Gemini. Ha ha ha. 1999. You wear the badge of putting us over the top tonight. Thank you so much. Todd, where's the post? Oh, Squeeze a Lot. Also 15. Nice. Release all the information. Right on. Now we're at 120. Thank you, guys. Trump Truth Social, promise of accountability, FBI Director Kash Patel, fire the nice. Fire the agents kneeling during the George Floyd riots. Full accountability if they spit. Government. Heavy-duty trucks, Caroline Leavitt. Prices are down. Okay. Todd, where's the post? Dude, they're still posting. They are just posting like memes. The post of President Trump talking about that guy in topic 5. It was referenced in the press conference today. Let's see, Fox News, big day at the Navy. Here it is. Here it is. It was 24 hours ago. Boom. Okay. Yeah. All right. The mask is finally slipped, and what's underneath should terrify every American parent. A Democrat candidate for Virginia's top law enforcement position has been caught red-handed fantasizing about murdering his political opponents and their children. These aren't rumors or anonymous sources. These are his own words in his own text, screenshots, and they're circulating nationwide. The story has now reached the White House, and President Trump and Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt issuing official condemnations while Democrats remain silent. Jay Jones, he wanted to be the Attorney General, the person responsible for justice in Virginia. Instead, his leaked messages reveal someone consumed by violent hatred. When even Morning Joe says you should drop out, you know the evidence is damning. This is where radical rhetoric leads. So keep on watching. And just as Jay Jones' hatred consumed him from within, aging can consume our bodies from the outside. But while we can't control the hatred in politics, we can control how we age. A meta-analysis of 23 controlled trials showed that people taking collagen supplements saw real improvements in skin hydration, elasticity, and reductions in wrinkle depth. This is why I use Ageless Multi-Collagen, and I'm obsessed with how it makes my skin look. It supercharges my skin with 5 types of premium collagen needed to help reduce wrinkles. Since I started drinking collagen daily, I've noticed smoother skin, more elasticity, fewer fine lines, and a youthful glow. Plus, it helps improve joint health, bone strength, and connective tissues. Grab a bag for 51% off at healthwithgary.com. That's healthwithgary.com. You'll find it linked down below. Now, President Trump weighing in today in our topic about Jay Jones. 24 hours ago, President of the United States writes, it has just come out that the radical left lunatic Jay Jones, who was running against Jason Miyares, the great attorney general in Virginia, made sick and demented jokes, if there were jokes at all, which were not funny, and that he wrote down and sent around to people concerning the murdering of a Republican legislator, his wife and their children. Abigail Spanberger, who is running for governor, is weak and ineffective and refuses to acknowledge what this lunatic has done. Even Democrats are saying it is resignation from campaign territory. Democrat Jay Jones should drop out of the race immediately, and the people of Virginia must continue to have a great attorney general in Jason Miyares, who, by the way, has my complete and total endorsement. Jason will never let you down. So this has reached President Trump. It's also reached the Virginia Fraternal Order of Police. Says the Democrat Attorney General nominee Jay Jones is unfit for office after his violent text messages surfaced in which he expressed a desire to murder political opponents and see their children get killed. They call on him to drop out immediately. Here is the letter from the Fraternal Order of Police of Virginia. They are aware of recent text message scandal involving the Democrat candidate for Attorney General. While this incident may have occurred in 2022, the conduct has no place in our society or democracy, especially from an elected official who is running to be the top prosecutor in Virginia. The men and women of Virginia Fraternal Order unequivocally condemn these violent text messages sent by you about a political opponent and his family. So that message sent to Jay Jones for Attorney General campaign from the Fraternal Order of Police in Virginia. Now, we also have this from the White House. We're going to show you the text messages in a moment, but the White House did weigh in on it today. The violent text drawing fire from President Trump. Dem AG nominee Jay Jones threatened to kill a Republican and his kids. Leavitt backs Trump's condemnation. Zero tolerance for political violence. Dems silent as their own embraces extremism.
Ready to discuss.
A few days ago, President Trump demanded Jay Jones of Virginia get out of the race for condoning political violence in a text message against a Republican politician a few years ago. He hasn't left the race. He hasn't dropped out. What's the president's reaction?
Well, as you know, I'm not at liberty to discuss political races from the podium. I think the president himself made his position very clear, and I think anyone could agree the messages that were sent by this Democrat nominee for Attorney General in Virginia are really shocking, alarming, and completely unacceptable. He was threatening to kill his opponent and his opponent's children, and that type of rhetoric has zero place in our country. And the president was absolutely right to condemn that.
So President Trump condemning it, the White House confirming, and even Jay Jones losing MSNBC.
Congresswoman Spanberger.
Text messages
deeply disturbing messages that have been swiftly condemned across the political aisle. The Republicans have tried to tie this to the Congresswoman Spanberger, the gubernatorial candidate. She did very quickly denounce them. But it's unclear whether this Attorney General candidate will stay in the race. I think there's a growing sense that he probably should not. We heard President Trump last night. But even some Democratic leaders, John Hyman, have started to say, like, look, this is inappropriate. You can't, and especially at a time right now with such concern about violent rhetoric and political violence.
Who says that?
Yeah, that this is just way beyond the line.
I would say, not to be too much on the high horse. It's wildly inappropriate under any circumstances today, tomorrow, 10 years ago, 6 months ago. I think the pressure is going to be on Spanberger and for the party to ask this candidate to just quit the race, because just both, it's the right thing, and also the political splashback. You don't want to mess with this right now.
Who says that?
I think the right thing to do is basically this guy should do everyone a favor and step out of the race.
Yeah.
Wow. They've lost MSNBC even. And we have this. I didn't want to read them out loud. Even Morning Joe isn't standing up for vile Jay Jones texts. Jay Jones, Western Lensman, 13 hours ago. Your priorities come into focus when you're a parent. My highest priority will always be the safety of our families. Also, Jay Jones, I want my political opponents to watch their children die. This man should be nowhere near an elected office of any kind.
Horrific than a mother.
People always told me that your priorities come into focus when you become a parent. And my highest priority will always be the safety of our families.
You said, according to the article, I'm quoting, Gilbert's wife could watch her own child die in her arms so that Gilbert might reconsider his political views. I can think of nothing more horrific than a mother having to hold her dying child. How can Virginians trust a man who said something so horrific, so callously?
Well, again, I am so deeply, deeply sorry for what I said. And I wish that it hadn't happened, and I would take it back if I could.
People always told me that you can't take it back because the cat's out of the bag. Jason Miyares, the Republican incumbent in the VA Virginia AG race, just released a career-ending campaign video against Jay Jones.
But it's true. The Washington Post confirms Jay Jones sent texts that imagined shooting the Republican Speaker of the House. Jay Jones wished the Speaker's wife could watch her own child die in her arms. It's so disgusting. It's hard to believe, but it's true. Jay Jones confirmed that he hoped an opponent's children could die to advance his political agenda. Can you trust Jay Jones to protect your children?
I'm Jason Miyares, candidate for Attorney General. I sponsor this ad.
Yeah, that guy's done. Winsome Sears calls out Democrat leaders over Jay Jones' bombshell leak. Everyone knows this is true.
The calls for hate and violence are coming from the mouths of the Democrat Party's leaders. And Jay Jones is just the most recent, and his wish for violent acts the most clear. So if you can't solve a problem, you can't name it, but I will. And here and now, the leadership of the Democrat Party has become consumed with hate.
Oh, yes, they have. And they are openly assassinating Remember this. Benny Johnson points it out. After Charlie Kirk and Donald Trump were both shot in the head by Democrats, you probably don't need more proof that Democrats want to kill you. But if you do, here's a story. Meet Jay Jones. Jay is the Democrat candidate for the Attorney General of Virginia. Jay publicly fantasizes about shooting his GOP rival, House Speaker Todd Gilbert, twice in the head and pissing on his grave. He also wished death on Gilbert's small children, calling them little fascists, saying that only when people feel pain personally do they move on policy. President Trump, J.D. Vance, even MSNBC have demanded Jones drop out immediately, yet the Democrat Party and all their support groups have kept their full endorsement of Jones. They've doubled down on the guy who wants to murder Republican children. That tells you everything. Democrats are the party of violence and domestic terrorism. They will vote for people who want to kill you and your children for power. These people want you dead. Many aren't even hiding it. Many Democrats think this way. Jay Jones must drop out and face a full investigation. This is the same dangerous sickness that led to Charlie Kirk's assassination and 2 attempts on President Trump's life. So here are the text messages. They say nice things about everyone, LOL. If those guys die before me, I will go to their funerals and piss on their graves. Send them out awash in something. Jay Jones, 3 people, 2 bullets. Gilbert, Hitler, and Pol Pot. Gilbert gets 2 bullets to the head. My God. Spoiler, put Gilbert in the crew with 2 of the worst people you know, and he receives both bullets every time. Oh, my God. And whoever he's texting with says, Jay, please stop. And then he just replies, LOL, okay. And then he says, it really bothers me when you talk about hurting people or wishing death on them. Oh, my Lord. More leaked text messages. You weren't simply asking questions and you know it. I genuinely was. I wasn't attacking you. I was trying to understand your logic. You weren't trying to understand. You were talking about hoping Jennifer Gilbert children should die. Yes, I've told you this before. Only when people feel pain personally do they move on policy. There isn't. I point blank asked you more than 3 times. And you dug in that you meant it. I honestly am asking, I am questioning a lot today. I mean, he replies, I do think Todd and Jennifer are evil and that they are breeding little fascists. Yes. Wow. Absolutely disgraceful. And let's see here. Colin Rugg, 72 hours ago, Virginia Democrat AG nominee Jay Jones once fantasized about shooting House Speaker Todd Gilbert in the head, pissing on his grave. Jones was upset Republicans were eulogizing recently deceased former state legislator Joe Johnson. Oh, my Lord. Who says this? Unbelievable. He sounds exactly like the extremists who were celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder. Let's see.
And helped get illegal guns off prosecutors and the father of 2 young boys. I've always believed that keeping our community safe is the most important responsibility of any Virginia leader. That's why, as a delegate, I increased public safety funding by more than 20%, ensuring that law enforcement and our first responders have the resources and training they need to succeed. I also sponsored bipartisan laws to strengthen penalties for sex offenders.
Yeah, whatever, dude. It's time for you to go. Jay Jones, Alex Rusowitz writes, Jay Jones is an unhinged lunatic who is unfit to hold office. The people of Virginia need to make sure he's defeated. Vote for Jason Ramirez.
Messages coming up, an attorney general candidate in Virginia is apologizing for his texts about a state lawmaker. We'll go through what the messages said.
Probably be forced to withdraw from the race.
Okay.
And probably is doing a lot there.
All right, Morning Joe will be right back.
Yeah, they have lost the plot. Holy cow, man. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. This is what happens when political rhetoric becomes a blood sport. Jay Jones didn't just cross a line, he obliterated it. When a candidate for attorney general fantasizes about executing political opponents and watching their children die, we're not dealing with policy differences anymore. We're dealing with dangerous extremism that's now reached the highest levels of government. The White House has spoken. President Trump condemned it. Press Secretary Leavitt called it out. Even liberal media can't spin this away. MSNBC says drop out. Fox News calls it career ending. Where are the Democrat leaders? Where's the condemnation from Schumer or from Biden or from anyone in Jones' own party? Their silence speaks volumes. They've created this monster with their rhetoric, and now they're too cowardly to even disown him, even as the White House demands accountability. So here's my question. Should threatening to kill political opponents disqualify someone from holding a public office? Can't believe I'm even asking this question. But let's have a conversation. Yes or no, comment below, and show where you stand at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. My Lord. What is wrong with these people? But that's the state of the Democrat Party today, folks. That is the state of the Democrat Party. This just in. Interesting. I'll just bring this up on the screen for you. This is Laura Loomer 2 hours ago. A high-level White House source just told me that President Trump has no plans to pardon Jeffrey Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell. Today, during an Oval Office press briefing, Caitlin Collins of CNN asked President Trump if he'll be pardoning Maxwell. He said he hadn't heard the name in a while, and he would talk to DOJ, but he confirmed no plans to pardon Maxwell. He also can confirm he's personally not been asked to pardon her.
DOJ, I'll look at it.
Today, Mr. President,
say it.
The Supreme Court is back, and
yeah.
They rejected today an appeal by Ghislaine Maxwell to overturn her conviction. That means her only chance of getting out of prison is a pardon from you. Is that something you're...
Who are we talking about?
Ghislaine Maxwell.
You know, I haven't heard the name in so long. I can say this, that I'd have to take a look at it. I would have to take a look. Did they reject that?
She wanted to appeal her conviction.
And what happened?
They said that they were not going to hear her appeal.
I see. Well, I'll take a look at it. I will speak to the DOJ. I wouldn't consider it or not consider it. I don't know anything about it. So, but I'll speak. I will speak to the DOJ.
Why would she be a candidate for clemency, sir?
I don't know. I mean, I'd have to speak to the DOJ. I'll look at it. I have a lot of people have asked me for pardons. I call him Puff Daddy has asked me for a pardon.
But she was convicted of child sex trafficking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to take a look at it. I'd have to ask DOJ.
Look at that. Squeeze a lot dropping 15. Release the information. Squeeze a lot dropping 5. That dude needs to go to an asylum for life. Phyllis Harris dropping $9.99. Fan character dressed as a cheerleader jumping in the air. Squeeze a lot again. $5. The demon rats are in hiding on this probably because they say the same thing. Wow, we are at $140 in chat revenue tonight. And what a show that we have had. What we witnessed today isn't just news, it's the systematic unraveling of everything that makes America work. 5 stories, 1 theme. The establishment will destroy this country before they'll let us take it back. The Democrat shutdown? It's economic warfare on working families. They're literally starving American children to fund health care for people who shouldn't even be here. $200 billion to help is held hostage while WIC runs dry and soldiers work for free. This is not governance, this is extortion. In Chicago, we watched something I never thought I'd see in America. Police officers ordered to abandon federal agents under attack. Dispatch audio doesn't lie. When Brandon Johnson and J.B. Pritzker tell cops to let ICE agents die, they've declared war on the rule of law itself. They've turned the Windy City into a criminal playground where cartels have more protection than cops. Then we looked at Portland versus Memphis. One city rejects help and descends into anarchy with Antifa controlling entire neighborhoods. The other embraces the National Guard and watches crime disappear overnight. It's proof positive that Democrat policies create chaos while Trump policies create safety. The choice could not be clearer. And the Russia hoax story we've been tracking for weeks just exploded wide open. The missing 40-page document that could prove Obama's team knew Hillary was framing Trump vanished from every archive. The Mar-a-Lago raid makes sense now. They were desperately hunting for evidence of their own crimes. This is, of course, bigger than Watergate, and the media still won't touch it. And Jay Jones, his violent fantasies about murdering Republicans and their children have now reached the White House. Trump condemned it, Leavitt called it out, but Democrats crickets. When even MSNBC says you've gone too far, you have really lost the plot. Yet his own party stays silent and the White House demands accountability. But here's what they don't understand. Every attack makes us stronger. Every lie exposes them further. Every time they choose illegals over Americans and criminals over cops or violence over peace, more people wake up. So to everyone who sent in Super Chats and Rumble Rants tonight, thank you. You're not just viewers, you are the resistance. You're the ones sharing the streams by text, bypassing the algorithms, getting the truth out there. So keep telling your friends about the show. Hit up our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Wear your support proudly. Show them we're not backing down, we're not shutting up, and we're not going away. This is bigger than politics now. This is about whether America survives as a constitutional republic or becomes another failed state run by extremists who hate everything we stand for. The battle lines are drawn. The evidence is clear. And if today taught us anything, they are more desperate than ever because they know that we are winning. So thank you for joining the Raw Feed. Keep fighting, keep sharing, and keep the faith. We'll see you on the next show.